What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ansel Armstrong back again, and today we're going to be talking about flipping. MLB The Show 21. I've had a lot of people asking me about flipping, how to flip, what the process is. Obviously, we have a ton of new players to this game in MLB The Show 21, which is so incredible. It's been awesome to get to experience and talk to all of you that are new to the game when the servers are working, that is. But that's been a cool experience. I am so excited finally able to welcome in all the Xbox players to this game, especially the Diamond Dynasty, in what my opinion is the best sports game, especially for Ultimate Team modes. A little bit biased, but I've played them pretty much all every year, and Diamond Dynasty blows it out of the water, so I'm glad y'all have gotten to experience that. But I've had a lot of people asking me about flipping, working the market, what cards to flip, what my process is. And first, if you're brand new to the game and you haven't seen our basics of the market video, you'll be able to click that right up here. You'll see it come across your screen. Be sure to click that and watch that video first, because you do kind of need a basic concept and understanding of working the market in MLB The Show before you kind of get into flipping. But today we're going to talk about flipping and our do's and don'ts, what you should be doing and what you should not be doing when flipping. Let's dive into it. So here we are at the marketplace in MLB The Show 21. We get there from our DD menus, of course, and the basic premise of flipping is buying low and selling high. It's the most basic way to make money in the world. Let's just look at Mookie Betts here, for example. This is not a good flip. You'd be losing subs, but if we go to buy and sell, you'll see we can buy Mookie. We can create a buy order, and you can buy Mookie at 94,431. So if I was coming in to buy him, I'd do create buy order and I'd go 94,431, because that's one more than the sell order. Also, pro tip, you can move this thing. Use your right stick. It always starts like right here, and it like covers up these orders, and it's kind of annoying. Maybe y'all's doesn't start there, but you can move it, right? So I can move it here in case I'm trying to get into a specific price. I can do that. But anyways, that would be what I would do. I'd buy Mookie 94,431, and then once I got them, I could come in here and I could sell them 101,740. You'd actually lose stubs doing so after the tax. We'll talk about that more in a second, but that's the basic premise. We're going to come in, we're going to place buy orders, and we're going to place sell orders, and we're going to buy and sell cards. And essentially what you're doing is taking advantage, and I don't like saying it like that, but essentially you're taking advantage of people who are looking to either buy cards quickly or sell cards quickly. Because of course, as we're putting in orders, we're relying on somebody else to fulfill that order. When I place a buy order, someone has to actually sell it to me. When I create a sell order, someone has to actually go on and buy it. So we're relying on someone to come in and actually fulfill that order for someone who's looking to sell instantly or buy instantly. And that's how we make subs, utilizing those people who are instantly fulfilling those orders. Our first do of working the market in MLB The Show 21 is find what you're comfortable with. Personally, for me, I've spent a lot of time recently flipping golds in the market, right? That is what I'm comfortable with. I've learned those prices, as well as a couple diamonds as well. So let me actually throw in a couple diamonds here. For example, I flipped some Kershaws, right? And so I can look at Kershaw. I've been flipping them a lot. I know I've been able to buy them for around 16,000 stubs. And at his peak during the day, I can sell them for around 21K. So early on in the day, maybe overnight, I can buy them for 16. And then maybe I can sell them 20, 21. As we can see here, this is actually a pretty solid flip. If we can buy them at 17, sell them at 20, you take away the 2,000 for tax, we've made 1,000 subs on that flip. Now, diamonds are going to move a little bit slower. There's a little bit more room for profit. The market's actually pretty tight right now, too. So I'm surprised that we actually see a 1,000 stub flip. That is a pretty good one right there. But again, that's because I know his price. And I know that's probably about the peak of where his value's at. And so that gives me another opportunity where, again, with a card like Kershaw, you can do this with golds as well. As you start flipping, you will learn the market. You'll learn Javi Baez is expensive. Buxton is one of the more expensive ones. Lance Lynn, right? And you'll learn the market. So find what you're comfortable with and stick in that area. If you know you're able to consistently sell Lance Lynn's for 2,200, and you randomly get on the market one day and he's like at 1,400 sub sell now, go buy every single one of those up. Another place I did that with is equipment. This is a bit easier area to do it because there's less. Learn the price of a couple pairs of shoes. These move quick, a couple batting gloves, A couple arm sleeves. I'm a big fan of these arm sleeves and wrist guards. Find and learn the price of some of these. Perfect example, this card right here. One was selling for like 5,000 stubs just a couple days ago. The Stubble guard was like 1,400 stubs. I knew that was low. I knew that was a ridiculous price. I had been flipping it and selling it for like 4K. So I came in and bought up like 15 of them, sold them for 4K. Bought for 1,400, sold for 4K. You see where that difference comes in. All right, our first don't here. This one's a big one. This one gets me. And I say it over and over again. We have a saying on the channel that we'll get into in a second. Don't micromanage your orders. Don't matter, right? If I'm coming in to buy this arm sleeve and someone actually just sold one and I go in and buy it at 2105, that's what I, place your orders one lower on the selling, one higher on the buying. I go in at 2105. I'm not going to sit here every second and double check it. Did someone overcut me? Did someone overcut me? And then, relisting my orders. We're not doing all of that, right? Instead of sitting there and micromanaging an order you do place, just go place more orders on other cards, right? Instead of, I'm going to put one order here, then I'm going to go here and put an order. Then I'm going to go here and put an order. Then I'll drop down to this one, put an order, right? Then maybe I'll come up here and put an order. I'm down there, put an order. But I'm not going to sit there and worry, and I'll go back to players and then we'll do the same thing. I'll just put in some orders here. Again, the market's really tight right now. It's starting to open up a little bit. There's a couple decent flips, but I'm just going to go through and put in orders on all these. If someone goes in and overbids me, it probably happens every single time. I don't care. That's if they want to overbid me. If they want to overbid me by 500 stubs, that's their stubs you're losing. But wherever the market's at when I'm placing orders, I trust that that's a good price and it'll go through. Sometimes you have to go through and cancel orders because they don't go through. That's okay. It doesn't really hurt me much at the end of the day. So we have a saying. Set it and forget it. It's like the old infomercials, right? With the little rotisserie chickens. Don't be worrying about it. Set that order, forget about it, and then go through and you can sell it later. So all I'll do is if I spend 20 minutes placing orders, I'll go play a moment, conquest game, something like that. And I'm just going to back out onto here. Let's say I just placed a ton of orders. Maybe I played a conquest game. We'll see what goes through. I'll go to MVP players and then boom. If I know all I've been buying is golds, I'm going to sit here, boom, I'm looking for golds. Do I have any gold? Did any of my gold orders go through, right? Oh, maybe we bought Karen check. Boom, I can go sell them, right? If the orders didn't go through, guess what? I can cancel and I can rinse and repeat. Which goes into our second don't. We're not going to memorize our orders. I don't need it, If you want to do it, go for it. But you don't need a spreadsheet to track, every order you've bought. Unless you're just like curious of your profits. I think that is wonderful. But in terms of like making sure you're on top of every single card, again, I go through and that's just extra time I'd be spending to manage that and track that. I'm not sitting there and looking at my completed orders 24/7. That's just additional time that I could be spend flipping. I could be playing conquests. I could be playing events, ranked seasons, whatever. Just additional time we don't really need. I bought the card. When I place the order, I know it's at a good price. Then I'll go through and sell it at whatever price it's at in my inventory. I'm not going to sit there and it kind of goes back into micromanaging things, right? We're just going to take what it's there for right now. We'll take our profits, whatever it is. Now, of course, one of our do's is we do want to look for margins. We want to find good margins. This year, I've actually been finding margins pretty well. Been able to pretty consistently do 3 to 4, 500 stubs per flip. And if we can do that 100 times in an hour, obviously we're making thousands and thousands of subs. This Begman right here, perfect example. 17,295 on the buy now. The sell now is 14,211. That is a really good gap right there. We can see quite a big profit margin leading into our next don't, though. Don't forget about your tax. Okay, don't remember there is a 10% tax on every transaction. When you do your buy order, you don't need to worry about tax. That's just going to be the price. If I come in and put an order at 14,212, that's just being taken away from me. I lose that full 14,212. But when I go sell at 17,295, I'd actually be getting 15,566 back. That's still a really good flip. We're making over 1,000 stubs on that. That margin is there, but you do need to remember that. So when you get to somewhere tighter like this Corey Seager at 26,445, there's only about a 300 stub gap there. Although that is a really good price on Corey Seager at 23.5. Going back into our other point, know your market. A good way to test it though, be sure you're using your marketplace tab. Press triangle on these cards. We're going to come over here to marketplace. You can see right here, we have Seager, who has pretty consistently for 4 days held the price, right? We can see from 420 onwards, his buy now has been a little bit above 31,662, probably close to around the 32K range. And it looks like his sell now has been 28, 29K. We know it's been above 26, right? Then we can look at Seager and see now he's 23.5. So definitely been a market drop at the time of recording this video. And that would be, in my opinion, a pretty safe bet then to pick up, right? If I know a card is down from where it traditionally is, I feel a lot better about picking that card up to flip. I'll pick up some Seagers at 23.5. I can flip them immediately for 300 subs. If it goes through quickly, I'll take that. That's 300 subs. If not, I can also hold, and his price probably creeps back up to a more normalized price that we had seen recently. So understand your market. We'll take a look at Bregman here. Use this marketplace tab. You can see he'd been going for close to 20K and now down to 14. So if we buy up some Bregmans at 14, I can flip it immediately for over 1,000 stubs. Or if for whatever reason those orders just aren't going through as quickly, then his price is probably going to slowly rise over the next couple days as well, based off it being low right here. And you can just keep going through and doing that for these cards to make sure you don't want to pull up a Chapman, for example, and again, another guy who is pretty much in line with where he's at. But let's say when we look at his market, let's say he's selling for like 50K right now, and maybe you could flip it for like 2,000. Well, 50K is way out of line with where he normally is. So don't stay away from weird cards. If I'm going through, you see it a lot with bronzes, especially as the season got started. But let's say we're going through here and we were looking at silvers. Perfect one would be Shohei Ohtani here. As you can see, he's an outlier compared to the rest of the silvers. Now, his is a little bit more rational because people are buying a lot of them because in presumption of an upgrade, which I think makes a lot of sense. But every once in a while, for example, the other day I was going through the market, Liam Hendricks as Diamond was selling for 65K. I knew that wasn't his price. I checked his market. No, that wasn't what he was going for. He had a massive gap. He had a really good flip. You could risk it, but that's a card that's going to normalize back down. So stay away from these weird cards, especially as new players start getting added to the roster with roster updates. You'll see there's nothing really stepping out here, but you'll see a bronze that's selling for like 4,000 stubs and has like a 2,000 stub margin gap. Stay away from all those. If you, I mean, there's stubs being made there if you want to risk it, but especially starting out, play it safe. Stay away from those cards. Flip some of the tried and true cards, gold and silvers, personally my two favorite, and make sure they're staying in line with whatever their traditional prices are and what other silvers are selling for around that as well. Same can be said for some of these cards that are going to move a little bit slower, right? These legend and flashback cards, as can be denoted by the L, that stands for legend. This little yellow arrows are flashback. These are going to move slower. Certainly margins to be had here. You can see the Seaver got a margin of about 7,000 to 8,000 right now after tax. Quick maths. That's a great margin. That's incredible. But he's going to move a whole lot slower. It's not going to be worth your stubs putting into him. Plus, his price is most likely dropping, like these inning bosses, for example. I sold Kenny Lofton last night for like 75K. These dropped like 20K across the board, right? So those prices generally drop for the most part. So you don't want to be trying to flip a Kenny Lofton right now and you buy them at 44. You can sell them at 53. Pretty good profit. But if that order doesn't go through, next thing you know, it's a card that's selling for 30K stubs and you've missed out big time. Not to mention, it's taking a lot longer, even if it does go through. If you have 44K stubs tied up for like 3 hours, that doesn't do you a whole lot of good. But with the golds and some of the live series cards, that's why I like to stick with those. They're traditional. They move. You know how it's going to play. And the market on those really rolls relatively quickly. You'll be getting orders fulfilled as quickly as you can place them, both buys and sells. Which brings us to our next do is flip when the market is active. If you're trying to flip at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., which of course, if that's the only time you have to play, that's the only time you can get on. It'll certainly work. But if you're flipping during the peak hours, your margins will be a little bit less, but the market is going to move extremely quick. I'm sure if we went through and started putting in orders on some of these cards right now, it would almost immediately go through, especially for live series cards, especially for live series golds. These would be going through extremely quickly. That's just how the gold market works. It flies. So gone during peak hours while the player base is on and active and ripping packs and buying cards and selling cards, you're going to have a lot more success. And again, you'll be flying through and orders will be getting fulfilled before you can even know what's happening. Next thing you know, you'll look up, spend 45 minutes, and you made 20K stubs. It happens. Once you get in that groove, once you learn the prices, it'll start flowing really well. Now, the other thing that I do a lot is getting creative with it. Of course, we want to be smart, but we can get creative. For example, gold equipment is one that not a lot of people look at. There's tons of margins there. If you played there in the first week, you knew how these gold perks, which there's not really, the margins have fried up completely. You were able to legitimately buy these perks at 500 stubs and sell them at 5K stubs at will. The margins were there. The demand was there. All it took was just getting a little creative, right? Another area that could be would be something such as jerseys or these bat flips and things of that nature. Make sure you're being smart and don't do something that you're not comfortable with. But there's nothing wrong with getting a little creative, looking around the market, checking out sponsorships, checking out equipment. You don't just have to flip players. And I think that's something a lot of people get caught into, is that they feel like they have to flip players. But a lot of the time, some of the best stubs, some of the best margins, some of the best flips themselves can be made from non-player card items. Now, the last do that we have, and it's a big one, especially starting out, start small. You don't need to have 260K to flip. Start with what you have, and that's okay. If you have 1,000 subs to flip with, okay, let's go find something that we can flip with 1,000 subs. I'd like to do more than one card, so I'd probably come over here and start doing some silvers. I'd flip a couple silvers a couple times until I'm up to 5K. Maybe at 5K, I do some silvers, but maybe I do a gold as well. And then I'm up to 10K. Now maybe I'm just in the golds. And then you keep going slowly but surely. Start small. Don't get in over your head. Put an order or two out. Let those go through. Sell them so you can get the process down, so you can get the idea of putting in buy and sell orders, so you can get an idea of how long those things take. And then you can start ramping it up. One of the things I love to do, whether you're starting or not, I think one of the best things you do, put in some orders. I'll go through here. Wherever I find good margins, I'll spend 10, 15 minutes just putting in orders. Boom, 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 up and down the list. I'll put in orders. Then I'll go play me a conquest game, 3 innings, 15, 20 minutes later. I'll go ahead, hit up my inventory, sell all the cards that I've bought, maybe put in some more buy orders, rinse and repeat. Helps break it up a little bit, right? So then we're not just constantly flipping and we feel like it's a grind to flip through. We're doing a little flipping, we're making a little stubs, we're getting some progress on the conquest, maybe we're playing a showdown, get our team affinity progress, right? We're knocking out multiple birds with one stone while we wait for some orders to go through, and then we can go through and sell them kind of as a bunch. I found that helps me out a lot. And again, as you do that more and more and more, you'll get more comfortable doing it. You'll better understand some of the terminology, what is a good thing to look for. Like right now, I can pretty easily identify, boom, Glaber. That's probably the best gap we have on this page. Trevor May's not far behind either. He's actually a little bit better. Boom, Trevor May looks pretty solid. This Matt Olson doesn't look bad, right? And that takes time to just be able to relatively quickly see those gaps and kind of know what you're looking for and know what prices you're looking at. But that will happen relatively quickly as you start flipping. So that does it for today's video. Our flipping tutorial, again, in essence, we're going to be creating our buy orders on cards with nice gaps in their sell now and buy now price. Then when we get that order fulfilled, we'll be going through and creating a sell order. We never want to immediately sell now or buy now. Whether you're flipping or not, never do that. That's only going to lose you subs in the long run. That's what we're going to be doing. Flipping is definitely something that'll take time and effort to kind of understand better. But I'm telling y'all, once it clicks, it may seem daunting and confusing now, but once it clicks, it will make a ton of sense and you'll really feel like you understand the market better. As always, if you enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have tons of content to help you out make stubs. Even if you're not looking to flip or you don't want to flip as much, we have tons of content going about every way you can make stubs with and without flipping, through investments, through just playing the game. We also have our No Money Spent series where we track our squad throughout the entire year. We have a ton of help for players. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love doing. I love helping people I love entertaining people as well, especially on our Twitch. Link down in the description below. If you got any questions about the market or anything of that nature, you can always hit me up there. We always have a great community of people willing to help each other out. We're talking baseball, we're talking sports, we're talking MLB The Show. A lot of fun goes on there. So definitely urge you to check out the Twitch channel. And let me know down in the comment section below, what are you thinking about MLB The Show 21, especially if you're new, brand new from the Xbox community. What are your thoughts and opinions on MLB The Show 21? And be on the lookout tomorrow. If you watch this long, here's your little special nugget. You never know when Answer's going to drop a nugget of knowledge, but here we are. Be on the lookout for the YouTube channel tomorrow. We got 2 videos going up. One, our first ranked season game is going to be litty, and it's at our creative state of the daggum diamond. And then 2, even more importantly, you want noties on, because we may have found the best and quickest way to make stubs, and it will be the Show 21. That also won't be around for long, because it'll probably get patched relatively soon. It is that big of a method. That will be dropping tomorrow. Be sure to sub. Be sure to have noties on. That video is going to be epic. Until next time, though, I'll catch y'all around.